Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about Bulletgate. The FBI, in the person of Chris Wray testifying in Congress, threw a stink bomb into the middle of Team Trump yesterday by saying that the Bureau is not aware, not conclusive. He hedged a little and made it seem like maybe he wasn't aware, but the Bureau is, of whether Trump is hit in the ear by a bullet or by some shrapnel or maybe part of the plastic casing on a camera that the bullet kicks up. Why does this matter, right? It's so silly in a way, except it isn't, and I've been on it, or at least have noticed it and raised it from pretty early. What I said was, just a few days after, okay, it's bad form to be saying in the wake of the assassination attempt, oh, he wasn't really hit with a bullet. But then he's come out on the stump and has said repeatedly, I took a bullet for democracy. I took a bullet for democracy. So that's what makes it important for us as the public. Is this one of his? How many lies we were in? Thousands and thousands. Is this one? But it would be such a brazen kind of pusillanimous lie. I took a bullet for democracy when he didn't. And second point here is he was fastidious. He hasn't let anybody examine his ear except his phony baloney sort of non-licensed doctor. I think maybe the same guy who was able to pronounce when he was in office Trump the most healthy president who had ever lived. And somehow, had exhumed all the records for James Polk and John Adams. And so he's coming out there and saying it. That really puts it in issue, it seems to me, if he is lying about it. And I think it also makes him pretty vulnerable. It's what, if this kind of, almost symbol of his newfound patriotism and his who he is now, if that's a lie, that I think really is and ought to be a real body blow. It's so in keeping with Trump, but it has taken on very outsized symbolic value. All right, but I think it's pretty easy to see why we would care and why it would matter. That's not what's going on with the FBI now, which is what makes this pretty interesting. Recall, the FBI opened a criminal investigation into attempted assassination with the subject who was dead, whose face had been blown off, is the fact of the matter, by the Secret Service. But as I explained back then, it's not insignificant when they do that. That makes it a case. And not only that, the FBI announces it as a case and assumes control, but control here actually goes boom up to the top, Merrick Garland, who clears his schedule and is focused on the investigation. With the FBI, the ATF, and my old office, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Pennsylvania, where this happened. Perpetrator lived basically in Pittsburgh, a few miles from where I grew up, and then Butler was, very much part of my district. And so I have a sense of law enforcement there. But the main thing is it's protocol, it's sort of bureaucratic, but it's a fact. You open a criminal investigation, there is a broader purpose sometimes than bringing a case. And what they want to do is close down the investigation only after finding all the material facts, or at least all the material facts they can. So they are still digging, as Ray's testimony made clear, for a motive and a full sense of that. He seems does Crooks, the shooter, to have been very much a lone actor, a lone wolf, but we are finding out more and more kind of, little snippets, and Ray gave them of who he was and how he, at first tweeted out Biden and Trump and was just looking to shoot. But then here was a sort of startling detail that Wray revealed. He actually Google searched how far was Oswald from Kennedy. I did that myself when I found he was only 150 yards away with a clean line of sight. An unbelievably screw up that has resulted now in the resignation of the Secret Service director. Oswald was about 2/3 or so of the distance. And of course, that was in 1963 with much less sophisticated firearms. But anyway, for the FBI, they want motive, but they also, there's little pieces of shrapnel on the dais where Trump was speaking, and they want to put that together and have a diagram of each and every shot. It's the first one that results in the injury to Trump, and then there's a succession of, we think, seemed like 8, but they want to figure out everything. And that's why they want to know what happened to did the bullet go here or did it actually nick his ear? Now, in criminal investigations, the FBI has the power to subpoena physical evidence. So this has been fought often. They could, there may be legal reasons that Trump could push back, but a really interesting point here is the FBI can't force you to talk, but the FBI can force you to give physical evidence. Some of you may recall the Clinton investigation with Monica Lewinsky. He had to give blood. That's a rule. And it's been litigated because people said, you're making me testify against you're making my own blood testify against me, is the sort of argument that the courts have rejected. It's not testimonial, the forced production of physical evidence, meaning, you could see a showdown or something that Merrick Garland would have to say. They're not required to get this, and yet they really want all the details before closing it out. And if they go to the court and say, I want a subpoena to examine Donald Trump's ear, and I want to be able to, look at how things match up with the evidence on the ground, Trump can't resist that on the grounds that it's testimonial. He could try to say it's unnecessary and it's outweighed by the inconvenience to him or whatever. But if you put this into the rubric of a typical criminal investigation, which is what it is for the FBI bulldogs in the Western District of Pennsylvania, it's a straightforward, we need a little physical evidence here to find out. My best guess is that Garland won't seek that kind of showdown, but imagine if he did. And, imagine if it comes back so conclusively. As, by the way, the reason that I focused on it first is people that I respected said the very day of the assassination attempt, AR-15, nicking an ear, there's just no such thing. The top third of his ear would have been blown to bits, not the little trickles of blood that he did have. So they've been suspect from the start. Anyway, things are set up, and there's a possibility, at a minimum, we're going to have more political pressure on him, and he's going to be probably bobbing and weaving and keeping people from examining the ear, which also appears to be over-bandaged, so that at least when you're Donald Trump and have your reputation precedes you of being the most promiscuous liar in the history of the presidency, that becomes a political issue in and of itself, even though, again, the context here that could force the evidence out is the criminal investigation, the odd one, since it's not going to result in charges since the named person is dead. But quite a confluence here of politics and law, and a possibility that the FBI sort of conventional investigation really forces a revelation of a detail that Trump is, if he is in fact lying about it, very eager to keep out of the public the public eye. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.